So besides the daily green boost, how can a person make sure that they get all the nutrients from the food, from what they eat daily?
Okay, excellent question, but it took you about 3 seconds to ask it. It might take me more than 3 seconds to answer, but I'll try to break it down as easily as possible. Nutrients fall into two categories. There's the food provided nutrients and there's the non-food provided nutrients. So non-food provided nutrients are like D and B12, not meant to come from food unless it's been fortified into the food by the agribusiness. So if you're eating a diet that is unfortified, you still have to be careful about D and B12, and that's where a lot of people fail. They don't think about it. No one teaches them to. Now you have to think about D and B12 because it's not being fortified in fruits and vegetables. And some people lie, or not lie, but they have misinformation. They'll say, "Oh no, you can still get plenty of B12 from the vegetables you're eating. Just don't clean them." Well, I've never cleaned vegetables, but I bumped up against B12 deficiencies. So a little bit of B12 that comes from the soil that's sitting on the surface of your vegetables, not enough to supply your needs. So while that statement is true that there's some B12 on the vegetables or on the fruit, if you're eating the fruit whole, like a strawberry, first of all, if you clean it, that there goes the B12. But even if you didn't, there's not enough B12. So there's the non-food provided nutrients. Now, in the food provided nutrients section, that can be really tough because, like I said before in this video, the agri-based food industry is not making sure that they only put two nutrients back into the soil, potassium and phosphorus. And you might say, well, that's really nice of them. No, that's not nice of them. The only reason they do that is because if they didn't, nothing would grow. Nothing would grow. So they have to be able to, so they're saying, okay, what's the bare minimum we have to put back into the soil so we can grow crops and sell them? It's potassium and phosphorus and nitrogen. So it's NPK. That's a fertilizer, NPK fertilizer. But if the scientists there are saying, hey, agribusiness, you should put chromium back in, you should put selenium and iodine, you should put all these things back into the soil that you took out because the soil is becoming depleted. And they're like, why? Will the stuff grow without those? Well, yeah, our crops will still grow without them. Don't put them back in. Don't put the sodium back in. You wonder why a lot of raw foodists get cravings for salt? Salt is a biggie for us. We need sodium. And they're not putting sodium back into the soil, but they're putting potassium back in there. And we have trillions of cells in our body, and each cell has a sodium potassium pump. That's how it gets things in and out of the cell. Sodium potassium pump. So if you're eating fruits and vegetables that have plenty of potassium because they are putting that back in the soil, but not enough sodium because they're not putting that back into the soil, you're going to get what? A salt craving. Your body's going to be like, I need salt. And where is it going to push you towards? Your brain is going to remember where you used to get the salt from. So it'll say pretzels, potato chips. And you'll be like, what? Pretzels and potato chips? Now. Oh, okay, okay, okay. And you go and eat pretzels and potato chips or some salty snack because your body is craving to balance out that sodium because otherwise those pumps are not going to work. And if those pumps shut down, you die instantaneously.
Yeah.
So that's a high priority. So that's why some animals, even animals, get the salt lick things where they go over and start licking salt because there's not enough in the soil that the foods are grown in that are fed to the animals. Same for us. So the daily green boost, like a really good green powder, and there's some very horrible green powders out there, so be careful. But if you're using a nutritionally worthwhile green powder that you're adding to your banana smoothie, let's say, that helps with a lot. Not with 100%, with a lot. What I found is that you may still have to. What if you come into this and you start instantaneously putting green powder into your banana smoothie because you've learned, but you've come into this with certain nutritional deficiencies because of your previous diet. Well, the green powder is not meant to, it doesn't give you therapeutic amounts of any nutrients. It's just meant to keep you normal. But if you come in low, now what are you going to do? That's why some people get melon belly because they have a chromium insufficiency, or they get certain cramps or something because they have a magnesium insufficiency. So you might have to take chromium. If you have melon belly, you take chromium, a little chromium pill for maybe a week or two. That brings you up. That brings you up to normal. Now the daily green boost green powders can keep you there. Iodine is another big one. That's number three of the three problematic ones that I found in my practice, which is D, B12, and iodine. Iodine is not enough in the soil, so there's not enough in the foods that you're eating. And iodine is one of those things that every gland and organ requires in the body, including the glands and organs of the immune system, including your thyroid. So I've seen a lot of people say, I'm eating the fruit and vegetable diet. I'm really healthy now. I stopped eating that bad diet that I used to eat, which included salt. They're no longer putting salt in their food. And salt was the way that the government put iodine into our food supply because they realized, oh crap, people aren't getting enough iodine and the farmers aren't putting it in their soil. And people are walking around with these big goiters and there's cretinism and the baby's being born. So once they figured it out, oh, it's iodine. Okay, we'll put iodine in salt because it binds well with salt. Everybody uses salt. Problem solved. The goiter went away. Problem solved. But when people start getting salt out of their diet, salt-free things, just fruits and vegetables, now there's no iodine in the fruits and vegetables, they start having problems with their thyroid. So over years, I'm getting more cold sensitive. I'm getting this, I'm getting that. My hormones are being affected. What is going on? I thought this diet was supposed to be better than the diet I was eating.
Yeah.
Well, it is in general if you get enough of all the nutrients. So now I don't tell people, well, start putting salt back, iodized salt. Start putting iodized salt back into your diet. Well, that's not good because of all that extra salt now. That'll disrupt those sodium, potassium pumps in the other direction now. But you can actually add iodine back into your diet by adding it to a smoothie. Now, you want to test first to see how low you are. You want to take it slow. It's not like taking a B12 supplement. You can take a whole bottle of B12 and you won't get harmed by it. But you take a whole bottle of iodine and you're going to die. So there's different nutrients out there. There's ones that you can do on your own. You can't really mess up. But there's ones that'll put you in the hospital if you don't do it under the care of a practitioner, an iodine literate practitioner. So especially iodine. D, if you really read enough about vitamin D, and I got an article on my website about vitamin D. Yeah, you can do that one yourself pretty much. You don't need to counsel with somebody like me. But iodine, that's a persnickety one.
Yeah. And is organic produce different? I mean, is it better than regular produce? Regards the nutrient content.
Right. It used to be when organic farmers when farmers started turning organic and they really took good care of their soil. In other words, the reason they went organic, the reason they stopped using the pesticides was they really cared about people's health and the health of their product. So not only did they stop using pesticides, but they started putting other things into their soil besides the NPK fertilizer, so that their produce that they were selling was really nutritious. That was 40 years ago. But then the rest of the agri-based industry said, oh, there's a market for this organic food stuff. People are loving this organic food. Okay, let's market organic food. So I'll take my farm and I'll make it half organic and half conventional, and I won't use pesticides over here on the organic. I'll just use them on the conventional. And now I can sell some organic produce and make a lot more, markup on it. But they're not taking care of the soil the way the original organic farmers did. So that was true 40 years ago. It's not true so much today from the agri-based food industry that sells organic produce. If you find a local farmer that sells all organic produce, then that's the kind of guy that was around 40 years ago. He's probably taking very good care of his soil. You can ask him, what are you putting in? What are you putting back into your soil to replenish the soil with nutrients? And I doubt he's just going to say, well, NPK fertilizer. He's probably going to say manure and rock dust and sea salt. He's going to say other things because he really does care. And so you're going to end up paying more for his fruits and vegetables, probably. But for nutritious fruits and vegetables, I would certainly.